this is your first time, we like to say it is a privilege having you and we count it an opportunity. And we also want to remind you that this you will not regret. So if this is your first time, just hit the subscription button. Support this channel by hitting the subscription button. Subscribe to this channel so that you will not miss our next episode. As you rightly read, it's the thumbnail. We are discussing the three dimensions of the human soul. The three dimensions of the human soul. So we will just the soul is real. Even though most of the time people don't, there are a lot of people who have that different belief. There are variations of belief, and some people believes tells them that the soul does not exist. But countless time across different religion, since I don't really want to talk about religion, but one way or the other, it has to be brought into it. Across different varieties of religion, the soul has been proven to be real. The soul of man is real. And some studies have proven that it is only human that contain a soul. Well, that depends on your level of beliefs and whatever you believe in. But what I really want to address more is what is scientifically proven, socially proven, biblically proven, spiritually proven that the human soul is real. For a typical example, there's a study that was made in one of these popular universities. I think it should be the University of Cambridge or so. So there were so many people, about 5 or 6 people, dead bodies. They were laid and they decided to compare their deceased with the deceased of an animal or varieties of animal. So they tried to lay the body on a scale and weigh them compared to when they were alive. And when they did the studies, it found out that when the soul leaves a person, their weight actually decreases. So we are discussing about the existence of the human soul. Thank you. God bless you. We are discussing about the existence of the human soul. There are so many people who don't believe that the human soul exists. And there are varieties of religion that thinks that the soul is just man-made idea. But like I said, across varieties of religion, even though I'm not talking more about religion, but it has been proven that the soul is real and it exists. If you talk about those who believe in Christianity, the soul exists. In Islam, the soul exists. In Hindus, the soul exists. In Judaism, the soul exists. So what is the human soul? Well, for definition, the soul is an integration of the mind, the will, and the emotion. The soul is an integration of the mind, the will, and the emotion. And we will talk a little bit more about the mind because the mind is the seat of the will, and the will is being impressed on by the emotion. So, what is the mind? The mind comprises of series of faculties that function in areas such as thinking, cognitivity, logical reasoning, understanding. These are functions of the mind. These are all faculties that put together to make up what we call the mind. The mind is divided into two main sections. You have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. It is called a single mind, not two minds, though in some many areas and some people perception, they say my other mind told me to do this and my other mind said don't do this. No, the mind is just one, but it has two dimensions. We have the conscious and the subconscious mind. We have the alive or the sub and the below. When you hear the word conscious, when you hear the word subconscious, the word sub means below. So you have the male mind and the female mind. Some people believe that's how they respond to it. Some people say the sleeping and the awakened mind. But everything is widely known as the conscious and the subconscious mind. And the conscious mind is the awakened mind, is the one we can relate with, is the one we are aware of. The subconscious mind is the one we are not virtually aware of, most especially when we are asleep. It is when it is awakened, and when we are awakened, it is dormant. So when we receive information, it is being suppressed onto the subconscious mind, and then it's being reproduced to what we are involuntarily able to control. So let's talk about how the soul function, or what make up of the soul. We said the soul is the integrations of the mind, the will, and the emotion. If this is your first time here, kindly hit the subscription button. Kindly subscribe to our channel so that you can be a part of the community. Let's create a community that we can understand and explain what we understand about life to help others. So the soul is made up of the mind, the will, and the emotion, and we've just explained the mind. In the mind is where thought exists. In the mind is where reasoning exists. In the mind is where understanding exists. In the mind is where thinking, critical thinking, analyzation exists. So the mind is one of the major components of the soul. Next to the mind is the will. Why is it that we focus more on the mind, or we say everything about our life is determined by what we think in our mind? Because of the definition or the explanation I'm about to give you. The mind is the major component of the soul. Though it does not function alone, but it is a major component of the soul, because the mind is where the digestion or the calculations of complex decisions making takes place within the human life. So everything that happens or evolves around our life, our decisions, is wholly and surely based on the mind. Why? Because of the next one, which is the will. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, kindly subscribe, like, and share. Leave your comment below. We can respond to the comments right now. So the will is where decision is born. It is about what you feel. The will is where decision is being taken place. It is about what you feel. So when the will is being felt, when we choose to do something, when we will to do something, the will is where the free volition takes place. Theology says free volition, your ability to choose or not to choose. For typical example, in the Garden of Eden, hello, welcome. For typical example, in the Garden of Eden, God could not interrupt in the actions of Adam and Eve because of the will. You see, the will is one of the powerful gifts that God has given to man, because the will allows you to choose either against God or to choose for God. The will is one of the dangerous gifts that God has given to man as well, because the will is what is causing us to choose for God or to choose against God. My speaker is on mute. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know what we could do about that. Just work on it. So the human will is powerful, and the human will is dangerous, because the human will is powerful because it allows us to choose and make our own decision. And this component of the soul make it so crucial, because the will is a law that does not allow even God to superimpose on what we do with our life. This is the reason why most of the decisions you take, it might be against God, and yet He does not interrupt in your affairs. People think, if God is so powerful, why will He allow wicked people to exist, or why will He allow people to commit sin? That's because of the gift of the will. Your will is what God will never overshadow. He will never overrule your will. That makes it so dangerous. The will is the second largest aspect of the human mind, of the human soul. We said first is the mind. And we said the mind is made of a series of components that include thinking, reason, understanding, and analyzation. Next is the will. Why is it that the will is next to the mind? Because the will suppresses decisions for the mind to activate. The mind is divided into two. We got a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. And most of the time most of the people, majority of the people, or let's say the average thinking person, is more aware of their conscious mind. For you to be aware of your conscious and your subconscious mind, that takes you more deeper and make you less than average. So the human mind functions in the area of thinking, in the area of logic, in the area of analyzation, in the area of remembering. These are areas of the human mind. Now, next to the mind is the will. From the will we got to the emotion. The emotion is the feeling aspect. The emotion is the feeling part. This area is where you feel joy, sorrow. The word emote itself means to move. It's where the area of your adrenaline, the area of your epinephrine, everything that activates and makes you to feel excited takes place within your emotion. And the emotion feels and suppresses on the will, and the will gives command to the mind on what to reason with. Remember, the mind function areas of thinking, reasoning, logical awareness, and cognitive decisions. But it all derives from the emotion to the will, from the will before the mind can have what it's function on. This is the reason why most of the time we focus on the mind. In the mind, as a man thinketh in his heart. When the Bible says heart, it's talking about the mind. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Let this mind be in you as the same was in Christ. So the mind is where decision is being taken place. And that decision is based on what has been felt in the emotion and what has been willed by the will, because the will is the mind is the seat of the will. Then we now have the decision based on the conscious or the subconscious mind. So being aware of this is very important. Why? Because it helps you to be aware of yourself. And self-awareness is something that you cannot overlook. Because everything that happens to you, your response is depend on what or how you are aware of yourself. The way you relate to people, the way you respond to people's attitude towards you, the way you respond to people's behavior, the way you get angry, everything is tied to your self-awareness. Most of the time we get angry not because of what people did to us, but because of our self-perception towards ourselves. When we sit down, we say, but why did he treat me this way? It means you have some level of self-awareness, because in your self-senses, you are what he did to you is contradiction to what you think you are. So you begin to analyze and calculate, and you, based on that, you respond the way you respond because of your self-awareness. So it is vital for you to understand the will, the mind, the will, and the emotion. This is the component that made up your soul. The soul is made up of the mind, the will, and the emotion. And the soul is very vital, because the soul is the middle between the body and the spirit. Since we are not talking about the spirit, soul, and the body today. The body is the first layer, the soul is the second layer, and the spirit is the last one. So the soul play a crucial role, and the mind play a crucial role in the soul. So when we're talking about the mind, it is vital for you to understand, because without the understanding of the mind, you will not know the understanding of the soul. And without the understanding of the soul, you will know the dynamic and the dimensions of yourself, because you are a component of the spirit, soul, and body. And your soul is a component of the mind, the will, and the emotion. And the mind is made of a series of faculties that we've mentioned earlier: thinking, understanding, reasoning, logical, decision making. Everything is tied within the mind. How? Because of the will and the emotion. Because when we are emoted, that when we feel, we suppress it, and we respond to it, which is our will. We will to respond to what we felt, And what we felt is being passed on to our will and being passed on to our mind. And then we can now digest or calculate in our mind whether we should respond or not. Are you getting me? So it is vital for you to understand these things. This was just a very brief life. I've not been on live for a while now, so I decided to come back to you and to bring you this little awareness. So in our next, we will be talking about the dimensions of the human body, the human being, actually your being, that is the body, the soul, and the spirit. Though it should be the spirit, the soul, and the body, but because we are so much physical and we relate so much with our body, we usually love to say the body, the soul, and the spirit. But in the understanding of God is the soul. In the understanding of God is the spirit, the soul, and the body. Because you are not a soul. You do not have a soul. You are a soul that have got a body and a spirit. So we will stop here today. Thank you for watching. If this is your first time, once again we say, just hit the subscription button. In our next video, we will try to bring people on so that we can have heart-to-heart discussion and we can hear from you and you'll be able to hear from us so that we all can contribute and come out with what our dynamic as a human looks like. Once again, thank you for watching. If this is your first time here, kindly hit the subscription button and leave your comment below. We are coming to the end of this life. God bless you for joining us. Bye-bye.